Good evening and welcome to our Parent Academy, Step Up to 4th Grade. Please join me in welcoming our presenters, Mrs. Carla Cunningham, Greenwood Elementary Principal, and Dr. Jerome Farrell, McKinley Elementary and Junior High Principal. And now, Mrs. Cunningham, I will turn it over to you.
Hi, and good evening, families. We are so happy that you could join us tonight. Dr. Farrell and I have some wonderful information to share with you, and we know that you are excited to become a McKinley Monarch. So we're going to move right into everything that we have for you tonight because we know that your time is valuable. I am now going to share with my screen, and Dr. Farrell and I will present information. If you have any questions, if you don't mind, you may put them in the chat and we will have someone check in the chat for us. Well, again, we are so very excited for you to be here with us tonight as we present to you the transition to McKinley Elementary. Once again, I am Carla Cunningham, Principal of Greenwood Elementary School.
And I am Jerome Farrell Jr., Principal of McKinley Elementary and Junior High School.
One of the main differences that we want you to be aware of in transitioning from Greenwood to McKinley is you are still a student in School District 150. The academic and the social development of your students will and have changed, as you've all noticed, but there are some significant transitions that we all must make, not only with the students, but as parents and as educators, and also as building administration. When students move from that 3rd grade level to the 4th grade level, for 3rd grade, we're working on a lot of mastering basic concepts and the skills. In 4th grade, Dr. Farrell will tell you how students must then incorporate those skills that were learned at Greenwood, and their thinking and higher level thinking is more critical because more problem-solving skills and working independently will be most important from Greenwood to McKinley.
Well, at McKinley, we, along, not by myself, we have a powerful team, powerful dynamic team. Mrs. Perkins, Mr. Ingram, our assistant principals, as well as the 4th grade team, and all of our grade levels. And we truly believe in the power of education. We believe in making that transition from 3rd grade to 4th grade. We know that foundation has been set at Greenwood, and we just look forward to continuously build upon that foundation. We call it scaffolding, and we take them from how they come to us, and we build upon that and make them better and better and better as they matriculate and preparing them eventually for high school. So you see this famous quote by Malcolm X, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And that's what we endeavor to do at McKinley Elementary and Junior High School for your students.
From the 3rd grade to 4th grade, here's just a small overview. It may seem that starting 4th grade is just like starting any other school year, but there are some changes. There's a big difference between what 3rd graders and 4th graders do in class. And I know with Mrs. Burns, with Ms. Rourke, with Mrs. Walker, with Mrs. Dacio, and with Ms. Ganusio, they've all shared with all of you this year the importance of making sure that your students are doing their work and doing their work on time. It is also important that your students not only get to school on time, but that they are in school often and that they are participating. We know that as our students are getting older, that change is inevitable and it will happen. From 3rd grade to 4th grade, the responsibility for each of your students becomes high, large, whatever word you may think of that describes an adjective of getting bigger. In all that we do, we want you to know that we are here for you, and we congratulate you and your student as you officially become a member of the upper grades. And so now I'm sure your question is, okay, Mrs. Cunningham, Dr. Farrell, now what? For academics independence for grade 3, we had a lot of things and you all have adjusted well, even at a time of the pandemic. Well, before the pandemic, the coursework from Greenwood to McKinley was stringent. That has not changed. The educators at Greenwood and at McKinley team together to make sure that there's cohesiveness in learning and that your students are getting everything that they need. The classroom educators meet your students where they are, but you as parents are key in all of this. Teachers guide them through the assignment step by step, but parents, you once again are key in all of this. By the time your students are done with third grade at Greenwood, they should be able to complete small assignments on their own, because the transfer and transition over from Greenwood Elementary School to McKinley Junior High starts with independence at work. And if you take a look at our bottom picture, there's more independence at work.
We had to, at McKinley, add an additional staff member to the fourth grade team because the third grade team, the third grade students, the numbers are great. So we've added, we have 4 this year, but we added additional. So we'll have 5 teachers for fourth grade to make certain that we continue with the small classroom so that the students will get the assistance that they need. And we just have on the, look at the right of your screen, some about the workload. I mean, students in fourth grade for the first time, they will have lockers. They will have lockers. We normally give the students lockers by the time they get to junior high. However, making the transition this school year, what would have happened this year had we been in-person learning, full in-person learning. But next year, the students preferably will be in person, all of us, all the students. So they will have lockers. They don't change classes except for when they're going to their special classes. So their teacher will be the main one for whoever their home teacher is. They'll be the main teacher for reading, their language arts, literature, social studies, and science. Then they do make transition for gym, as well as for the 4 specials. Sometime it may be a 5th, depending on when they begin band, if they're going to begin band. But the others are Spanish, computer, technology, art, and music. And so for each quarter, they would make a transition between those 4 classes. But the students are expected, as Ms. Cunningham alluded to, when you make that transition from third grade to fourth grade, and from pre-K to third, you're learning how to read. But when you get to fourth grade, expectations that students come in with that skill. So you're reading to learn new things, and there are more projects that they have in fourth grade that they probably hadn't had during second or third grade. So these are some things that are very vital and important for parents to note. We use the same type of platform with Canvas, with the Remind, with our parents, keeping up to date about what they need to know from day to day. Teachers make themselves accessible, visible. They do take their time with lessons, and they make certain that the students get it. You know, they use scaffolding, making certain if it's a student, if there's a skill that they didn't have, the teachers work hand in hand with it. And they also, we have a position for students that may be having some struggles or some difficulty. Then our assistant principals, what they do is they look at their STAR scores and so forth, and they get together with our resource teacher. And with resource teacher, it could be something with reading or math, where they will have opportunity to work on those skills a little bit more, having more one-on-one assistance, sometimes maybe 4 students at a time, but they get opportunity to work with this resource teacher if needed. So there are a plethora of things that we make available for our students to make sure that they are successful in McKinley Elementary School. Ms. Cunningham?
Critical thinking. Dr. Farrell touched on a lot of very important things. And from Greenwood's perspective, we do a lot of observing, defining, and inferring. So with reading and with language, as you heard Dr. Farrell say, at what I consider to be the foundation of education is our pre-K babies to our third grade students. And reading to learn and learning to read are two totally different things. For us, we are teaching our babies what they need to do in the process of reading. When you go over to fourth grade, learning to read is what they're expecting you to come in with. Those skill sets are very important. Complex words and reading longer are expected, but it's also going to be crucial for you to do. We encourage you to continue to work with your students throughout the summer. We realize that there are a lot of families who are questioning now, what do we do? How do we do? And Dr. Farrell will touch on a lot of major key points with what his educators will be looking for. I'm looking and I see now that we have the team leader for the fourth grade, and we'll ask him if he has some additions that he can add to also give you some keys and some clues into what you as parents can do to support your student as we have the summertime going from the transition from Greenwood to McKinley.
One of the things I want to tell you parents, you are in good hands. You are in good hands. No need to fear, to worry. When they come over to McKinley, your students, I remember my fourth grade teacher to this day. I can recall from kindergarten all the way through almost high school, my teachers. But specifically, I remember my fourth grade teacher, Miss Odell. And I actually had opportunity to work with her when I first started teaching, worked in the same district. And the same things that she shared back then, we're teaching today, those foundational skills, getting us ready, getting our students together and ready. The difference is now our students, there are certain ways that we're thinking even more critically. Even when I was in school, and probably some of you were in school as well, as far as what we're expecting our students to learn, the theory behind how they came up with a solution to the problem or how they came up with the answer. You didn't hear the word inference as much as you hear it now with our students, but those are some things that they will be taught, and the students will eventually grow into learning how to navigate through the text, the challenging text sometimes for them in the fourth grade level. And we also have, like I said, have the support of your APs, principals. We're very visible. We meet with our teachers regularly. They sit down and have grade level meetings where they talk and discuss about how to best move your student forward. And we're also talking about students that are advanced. Teachers differentiate in the classroom, wherever the students are, wherever level they're on. We're always trying to get them better, get them to the next level, even higher than where they came in with. So these are some of the things, and Ms. Cunningham mentioned earlier, Mr. Krugman was here, and this morning we also had opportunity to talk to the majority of all of the incoming fourth graders and their parents. We introduced all of the staff. We're going to go over curriculum, all those different things, even as we get closer to it. This right now, we're trying to give you as much as we can right now tonight, but we'll be going in depth, and the teachers will also be posting what the expectations are come August. You'll have all of that information for you to know what to expect when your children enter the doors of McKinley Elementary School.
Communication. Well, we all know that communication is a two-way tool. In conversating with Dr. Farrell, our conversations are always about what we can do. Call me, share this, let me know, I'll get back with you. And those are just some terminology that we use. For you as parents, transitioning from Greenwood to McKinley is just important. Making sure that the classroom teachers have a workable phone number, making sure that your students are aware that email addresses are up to date, and making sure that your students know what workable phone numbers there are to be able to reach you. And I say that because your fourth grade teachers are hands-on and they communicate. They will provide you information and keep you up to date with changes, with any questions that you may have. So they reach out. They too use Remind. So I know that is a tool you all are familiar with. So I ask you, before even moving forward, to make sure, above everything else, when it is time for you to register. By the way, registration has opened. Early registration for you is in the works. So please make sure, if you have not, to please start doing that, because your transition encompasses so much. And we don't want you to be afraid of the change, because as Dr. Farrell has said, Ms. Perkins, Mr. Ingram, and he are there to assist. The fourth grade staff at McKinley is simply amazing. We heard a lot, and if you were on today when the students were on, they were super excited to make this transition. The communication part, from group work to collaboration and problem solving, gets larger for your students coming from Greenwood, going over to McKinley. When I started by asking you about phone numbers and making sure that email addresses are working, this is because as your students get older, responsibility begins to shift from the classroom teacher to the student. The basics of group work, sharing, taking turns, and once again, problem solving are all aspects that your third grader will have packed up and ready to move on in their transition to McKinley Elementary School.
So as our students continue to progress in collaborative learning, note that they will increase their understanding of different perspectives. In the classroom, they are taught how to analyze issues from multiple perspectives and argue multiple viewpoints in a respectful, considerate manner. This allows them to become flexible thinkers and strong problem solvers. Saying all this to say that, as I recall my fourth grade teacher, how powerful she was in my life, this transition going to fourth grade, it is a pivotal point for our students. Making that leap from third to fourth grade, it is a turning point. So we want to make sure our students come in organized, that they come in ready, and how parents can help with that is making sure they get there on time, keeping our students healthy at all costs, making certain that they get the nourishment they need. If it's not from home, getting them there on time for breakfast at school. These are some things how you can help, prepare your student for school, and keeping in communication with the teacher. If at any point you need to speak with myself or one of my assistant principals, feel free. But your first contact should be that homeroom teacher. A teacher always asks, Dr. Farrell, please, I could solve that in two seconds. I'm always going to bring it back to the teacher to find out what the issue may be, whether it be academically, whether it be something social emotional, whatever it may be. Always having our doors open, but speaking to the teacher, that hasn't changed. That's always the first person. But if you can't get your answers, call. Don't let it be something go on and on and on. And it's something that we can take care of in the beginning of the school year. We are always here. We have children. Everyone on my team has children, so we understand. We understand the importance of having that communication, that dialogue with your teacher. Yes, it is a much bigger school, much larger school. However, there's a certain section for the students. And that's why when they make that transition to McKinley, it's purposefully done that way, where the elementary side is there. And it's not until they transition to sixth grade when they come over to the building, they start changing classrooms and mixing in with the upper class, now 6th, 7th, 8th grade students. But they'll have 2 years to get to make that transition before they become junior high students. So let's enjoy fourth grade together with your young people, our students, making them feel great, because they are great. And our responsibility is to keep motivating them, keep encouraging them. We have recognition assemblies throughout the year that we highlight our students that make the honor roll. and those students that increase, that make growth, improve their grades. So we know how important encouragement is. And that is always our endeavor. We know that high expectations and encouragement goes a long way. So these are some things that we bring to school every day, bring that energy. The culture of the school is that together we win. That goes from the students to the custodians, the cooks, those that, and the teachers in the classroom, teacher assistants, my office, assistant principal officers, all of us. We're all in this together to help. Even our administrative assistants, we have 2 of them. If there's anything that you need from us, we are here to help. That's why we're here to serve the community of South Holland. Ms. Cunningham, Ms. Patton.
Well, this is tough for me. All of you know, I say that my Greenwood Grizzly babies, and for you, you have been nothing but supportive. And Mrs. Patton transitioning into this position this year, you all have been simply amazing, and we love you. And there's just always a part of you being a Greenwood Grizzly. Mr. Krugman was kind enough to say today, and he said to all of the students that were on, well, don't worry, because you will often see Mrs. Cunningham in the building at McKinley. And I am, and I'm still open for my hugs from my Greenwood Grizzlies, and I love their wonderful faces and seeing their faces light up when they see us and know that we are still a part of what's going on. So as Dr. Farrell has said, you all are in great hands. Dr. Farrell and I communicate daily, sometimes nightly, but often. If there are questions that you have, he and his team are there. And again, I let you know, I know all of his staff. You are going to be in great hands of a wonderful group of educators. At McKinley, Mrs. Martinez is there for Greenwood. I know you all are very familiar with Mrs. Ingram, and Mrs. Ingram works with all of our students. She is part of our team to make sure that every student has what they need. And I know that she and Mrs. Martinez have had various conversations just to make sure for you that your students have a seamless process in this transition as well. So hopefully you are in the know of understanding that we all are working together. We are all wanting you to know that we're here for you. We know that for many of you, these are your babies. They are your precious jewels, your diamonds in the rough, your hidden treasures, all of those wonderful names. So we applaud you for you taking the time to be with us tonight. You will receive a larger part of this in the fall from Dr. Farrell and his team. We just wanted to give you a little tidbit of what you're going to experience and to relieve some of that anxiety, but also to give you some hope that you are going to be in great hands. With change, it has been said that sometimes change is often not felt as good, but change can be good. And right now, the change that you are about to experience under the tutelage of McKinley 4th grade staff, under the leadership of Dr. Jerome Farrell, Mrs. Ayana Perkins, and Mr. Joseph Ingram, along with central office staff, you all will have an amazing school year. I expect nothing less because you are coming from being a Greenwood Grizzly, and we are a team, and you all have been wonderful. So for students, parents, and all of you as you begin this very wonderful chapter for you on becoming McKinley Monarchs, Mrs. Patton and I congratulate you. Our hats go off to you, parents, grandparents, family members, caregivers, because you have allowed us to do what we do, and we could not do what we do if it were not for you. So I smile and say, as you always hear me say, as you always see me put in on my remind messages and emails that I have for you, you make a difference. And it is important that you remember to be the reason that someone else smiles today.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. So on behalf of the entire McKinley family, Ms. Perkins, Mr. Ingram, my administrative team, office staff, I see Ms. Martinez. She says here, I can't wait to see my Greenwood kids at McKinley in the chat. And some parents are saying thank you already. So you're welcome. We're here, number one for you, as stated. I hear somebody in the background trying to get my attention. So God bless everyone. Thank you again for your spending time with us this evening. We look forward to school year 2021-22. Go Greenwood Grizzlies. We welcome you to McKinley Elementary School in the fall of 2021.
Mr. Krugman, thank you for joining us. I see that you're on. I don't want to be remiss. Is there anything that you'd like to add for the conversation tonight?
I just want to let the parents know that we're all in this together. The teachers can't do it alone. We need you and your children to be on board 100%. A few things I do want to recommend is please make sure the incoming fourth graders do know their multiplication tables inside and out, because if they come into our fourth grade not knowing it, it will become quite a challenge. Also, writing simple sentences, capitalizing at the beginning of a sentence. It seems like it's not a big deal because it's something that we think the kids should know, but please see how your children are doing independently when they're with you. So when they come to us, they have some of the basics down so that we can move on and bring them to the stars. I know they can do it. I believe in them, and I want them to believe in themselves as well.
Thank you, Mr. Krugman.
You're welcome.
Ms. Perkins, Mr. Ingram, Mrs. Patton, is there anything that you would like to add? Mrs. Ingram, Mrs. Martinez?
No, I guess I'll just say welcome to McKinley. We look forward to meeting you all. Thank you so much for trusting us with your babies.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
And I was just going to add that, of course, we will always be there to check on you guys. And of course, we're going to miss all of our babies.
Thank you, Mrs. Patton. Mrs. Martinez or Mrs. Ingram, would either of you like to say anything?
Hey, it's Miss Martinez. I just wanted to welcome our new fourth graders, and I hope to see some of you next year. Hope to see all of you next year, and hope you remember me from Greenwood. If you all need anything, I am here. I will be around all year long. So if you need anything, let me know.
Thank you, Mrs. Martinez.
Hi guys, it's Mrs. Ingram. I just want to say congratulations, and you're going to do great at McKinley. No worries. I know some of you may be nervous, but you're in good hands, as everyone has stated, and I'll miss you, and no worries. I'm just a phone call away, but I'll see you around. Good luck.
Well, Dr. Farrell, you have any more encouraging words to take us out?
TWW. Together we win. All families, and as a district as a whole, we are in this because we love what we do, and we're going to continue on with building upon the foundation you started at Greenwood. God bless everyone.
Thank you, families. See you soon.
Thank you to our presenters, Ms. Cunningham and Dr. Farrell, and thank you to all of you for joining us for this evening's Parent Academy. If you enjoyed tonight's webinar, you can view the schedule of all of our upcoming webinars on the SD 150 district website. And as always, you can view past webinars by going to the technology section of the district website at www.sd150.org/departments/technology. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.